Says Trump's jealous of Obama. That's why no Iran deal. Viewers give her a smackdown by Rebecca DeCirio, Politics US News for MadWorldNews.com. Joy Behar is so triggered by the many wins our president has accomplished recently that she had an on-air meltdown. Joyless is completely ignorant of foreign policy and said President Donald Trump pulled out of the Iran deal along with refusing to stay in the Paris Climate Accord because he's just jealous of Barack Obama. Well, Big Mouth Bear was shocked as the audience delivered a proper smackdown. Joy Behar and the rest of the shrews on The View, minus Meghan McCain, who is the only voice of reason, decided they knew why President Donald Trump pulled out of the Iran deal along with the disastrous TPP, and why he refused to continue with the Paris Climate Accord. According to the foreign policy genius, that is Joyless Behar, President Trump is just jealous of former President Barack Obama's accomplishments. The Daily Caller reported on ABC's The View on Wednesday the topic of discussion turned to the Iran deal, which President Trump had just withdrawn the United States from less than 24 hours earlier. Bayer said that in the context of President Trump's other actions, she was beginning to see a pattern emerge. Screaming, Joy Behar went on a tirade where, well, he pulled out of TPP, which Obama was into. He pulled out of the Paris Accords. Well, let's just take a quick listen at the Joyless Joy.
Diplomacy did not extend to the Iran nuclear deal, however, which you know who pulled out of yesterday. He did it despite strong objections from the European countries honoring the deal and his own advisors. And is he just keeping a campaign promise here? Do we know what he pulled out of? Does he know what he pulled out?
I hope we're not playing campaign policy politics. You know,
I
think
her.
that once you are in office, fine, you've made some promises, but I think once you're surrounded by your advisors who are advising you against this sort of campaign policy rhetoric, you have to listen. To me, you know, when you think about the Iran deal, again, this was diplomatic. It was not only the United States, but it was just our allies also agreed that this was the best way forward in terms of diplomacy. And now you have defense, you have Mathis who's saying, yes, I'm in, you know, I think this was a bad move for our national security. So why?
In other words, we have to pay our bullies. Trump ran on the platform that he would pull out of the Iran deal, and he's keeping his promises, and that's why the American people voted for Trump. So to have these shrews dissing Donald Trump, I got news for these shrews. We're not funneling any money into anybody else's pockets. It's America first.
Isn't to pull out. So why isn't the president listening?
Because when he pulled out of TPP, which Obama was into, he pulled out of it. He wasn't down with it. He pulled out of the Paris Accords, which Obama was down with. He's pulling out of Iran, which Obama. Now, what's trending here? Do we see anything happening here?
But that's why he got elected.
He does, because it seems to be based on a personal antagonism to Obama and a jealousy.
I don't think that's the case at all. I mean,
yeah, put up the sign so the people can clap, because I've been to these kind of shows years ago, and they put up a sign where they're telling the audience to clap.
We only have 2.5 minutes right now, but the Iran deal was deeply, intensely
flawed,
very chaotic, and very controversial at the time. 4 Democrats didn't vote for it. It's why it wasn't a treaty. By the way, Chuck Schumer, Bob Menendez, Benjamin Cardin, Joe Manchin, they all didn't vote for it. We sent $400 million in unmarked bills to the largest state sponsor of terror. And I don't care who you are, but we shouldn't be giving money to a country where people go out in the streets and scream, death to Israel, death to America, and drop
but
missiles.
that's the American way. We've done that before. We sent money to the Iran Contra. I mean, we've sent,
We've done that. If we're as a show okay with giving money to the largest state sponsor of terror, pouring money into Syria, both sides of the war, the Taliban, Hamas, and Hezbollah, if that's where we're at as America, it is absolutely heartbreaking.
Well, here's the deal, Megan. Sometimes, unless you have,
They said unmarked cargo plane, which is what I said.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're hearing it in your ear.
Yeah, you just heard something? Okay. Sometimes, if your butt is about to get fried, you have to make deals. And that's kind of how stuff works. And it's not that they had anything better to bring in. No one, everybody bitches, but nobody has they didn't have anything for Obamacare. We said, what do you have? They didn't have.
Well, can I just ask you a question? Because again, I don't want to bring Obamacare into this because that's national policy. This is international policy.
I get the
I know, but like when we agreed to this, we agreed that the inspectors, American inspectors, would go in and check the nuclear facilities, would have 24/7 access to that. But that didn't turn out to be the case. Meaning we couldn't go there and inspect at any time what the money was being used for. I just don't understand how any American is okay at all with giving money to the largest state sponsor of terror while we're still
because it's not the first time it's happened. It's what happened.
Notice that there's no clapping when Megan is speaking because they did not hold up the sign. Do you see what I'm saying? They should have been clapping now, but they put up the sign, don't clap.
Well, one question I had though is when it passed,
the money wasn't.
It's Ben Rhodes' idea of what America is like in a classroom, not what it's actually.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
I just have a question. This was not popular when President Obama pushed this through, and what I'm curious about is now it's not popular that we're pulling out. Is the damage done, and that's why everyone's changed their opinion, and it maybe leaves a vacuum like Iraq,
Well,
where we don't have a plan?
He doesn't have plan B.
But they're already funding terror.
Trump does not have a plan
I can agree with the money being exchanged, but that's already been done. So my curiosity is, if it only had like a 20% favorability rate when it was pushed through, why are people now mad if it's being undone?
Because
why
Iran has been complying with it, and it has.
Yeah, all right. You know what? I say let's take it out of their pockets since they're for it, right? The only one that's making sense now, the blonde one over there, she made sense. Why was only 20% of Americans for it back then, and now you're throwing a stink up since Trump did this and he doesn't have a plan B. I got news for you, Joy. President Trump has plan A, plan B, plan C, all through the alphabet. I got news for Joy. He wouldn't be where he is if he didn't have plans.
They have. And it has worked. And for me,
that is so.
It has worked.
I think it has worked. I think that we'd be in a much worse place. I think the region would be less stable. I think it's this pulling out separates us from our allies. I also think that we gotta remember France, Germany, and Britain, and Russia
Syria?
and China also signed on to this. So
Russia and China, which you rage against all the time about our relationships with Russia. So now you're telling me that we should do what Russia does as well. I'm sorry. It is difficult for me to sit here and accept that we should be funding terror, which is I cannot get behind it.
Here's what's hard for me to accept. You guys don't have another plan. You don't have a way to get Iran to comply. You didn't have that. That's why it happened. But we have to tell I know we want to talk, but we gotta go.
Thank God you go. And I don't even see how people even watch you, It's shocking that these women on The View have no clue about why over half of the nation voted for Donald Trump. They have no idea why back in 2010, regular folks rose up and started tea parties, a real grassroots movement. They are entirely ignorant about Barack Obama's disastrous policies, which made then-candidate Trump the front-runner in the 2016 election as he promised to get rid of Obamacare, TPP, the Paris Climate Accord, and the biggie, the Iran deal. It's a big reason he won the election, Yet loudmouth Joy Behar and her cohorts, except for Meghan McCain, are so out of touch with mainstream America that they blame it on jealousy of Obama. Wow, those Americans who watched Joy Behar's rant delivered a proper smackdown. Actually, no, not at all. They did not throw down a smackdown. The audience was told not to clap. They had a sign, stay quiet. Ilona Boucher tweeted to Joy, she is so away with the fairies, it's embarrassing. Some people make things up before they have their coffee in the morning. She needs her coffee. Jealous of Obama? Laughable lady. That's not even stern enough. Time to ride, tweeted Sorry Joe Honey. Sweetie, other way around, Barack is jealous because he has realized that Trump has a set of nads that he has never possessed and never will. Keep talking. Joy Behar exemplifies the ignorance, arrogance, and projection of the left. No matter how much Trump succeeds, it's never as important as their attempts to destroy him at any cost. The real cost? America's safety, security, and prosperity, tweeted Karen Caitlin. Chuck from Mississippi tweeted, oh my God, this poor lady is delusional. She needs her friends and families to help her see reality, maybe some form of intervention. There were hundreds of responses, many of which were strewn while telling Joy to stop drinking her breakfast, and others rightly rude comments on her diminished mental capacity. People wanted to know why such a ridiculous TV program is still on the air. To answer that question, there's CNN's Jim Acosta. Obama's policies dumped the Trump-Iran deal, Paris Climate Agreement, Trans-Pacific Trade Deal, DACA, Obamacare, individual mandate. Hallelujah! Everything we the American people stand for, Jim Acosta. When you have CNN's Jim Acosta tweeting Obama's policies dumped by Trump, Iran deal, all of these, big mouth Joy Behar and her cohorts are all brainwashed. They get their news from CNN. They have no clue that Obama's presidency was so close to completely ruining our country for good. Luckily, Acosta got roasted for that tweet by patriots who set him and the Obama record straight. Idiots like Joy Behar, and I might add Whoopi Goldberg and that other one with the red hair there, will continue to spew their nonsense as long as the leftists in this industry can keep half the nation brainwashed. Here's hoping little by little with President Trump's wins, they will begin to see the light. These people will never get to see the light. These people, I don't know who's paying that station, because who's watching this show? I mean, we'll take a look at it just to know what's going on in the mainstream, so to speak, a little bit, to get a taste. But who would ever turn these people on? I mean, you have to be literally so dumbed down to listen to this trash. Jealous. Give me a break, Joy. Give me a break. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.